Warning, this video may contain content that may not be suitable for children or anyone else that is easily offended. Strong language, graphic content, nudity, bad jokes, and a possible idiot, aka myself, may be featured in the following clip. Viewer discretion is advised. And is not responsible for any damages that you receive watching this video. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Zims. Today we're going to react to the top 3 videos with a disturbing backstory. This video is by Mrballen, so if you haven't already, be sure you swoop down to the description box, claw that like button, and go watch the video in its entirety without me pausing and stopping through the whole thing. Thank you guys so much for the 1K. I know I said in the last video, but thank you again. Make sure you're entering in that giveaway, man, because it's a free game or the money equivalent, so you can buy you some shoes, t-shirts, man, socks, another game, whatever it is, man. Sky's the limit. Make sure you reach down having people help you out, man. It's not against the rules. You want family members to help you out, they can do that too. Have them apply, and if they win, then shoot, you win. It ends Friday, man. That's all I have to say. Well, it ends my Friday, your Thursday, I believe. I'm off Sunday, Monday, which is your Saturday and Sunday, because I'm always a day ahead of you guys unless you're in Japan. Then we were on the same track. Well, this video was recommended by Zombie Plays, so thank you again for Zombie Plays for recommending me this video. Now is the best time to do it, because as we get more and more people over time, I'm just probably going to have to do polls and stuff so you guys can vote and whatnot. That might be the next challenge. Who can do the best crow impression?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Today we're going to bring back a popular series where we look at 3 progressively more disturbing stories, and at the end of each of them I will play the real footage that goes with them. But before we get into those stories, if you're a fan of the strange,
dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you come to the right channel, because that's all we do, and we do it 3, 4, even 5 times every week.
So if that's of interest to you,
let's go.
Put icy hot on the like buttons to your and then encourage them to pet your very friendly dog. Except your dog isn't friendly, it's incredibly mean, and it bites anyone or anything that comes near it.
Yeah.
Also, please subscribe to
Icy hot, no joke.
turn on all notifications.
Facts.
So you don't
Mine's
miss
too.
our weekly uploads.
Turn on mines.
Alright, let's get into
Let's get it. This is the Mrballen dance. The Mrballen reaction dance. Late night visitor. The last late night visitor I had, it would not end well. It was a spider, I believe. And let's just say I check around my bed every night before I go to sleep now.
In February of 2019,
it was recently.
Man named Austin and his family moved to Houston, Texas. As soon as they arrived and they had their stuff pulled off the vehicles, Austin went out looking for a job. Because he was brand new to the area and his family was really tight on cash, he started looking for jobs that people didn't necessarily want. The types of jobs that would hire him really quickly. And luckily, 5 minutes down the road from his house was a gas station that was looking for someone to take the dreaded 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift. Austin went over there, he applied, and was quickly given the job, and quickly realized how miserable it is to sleep all day and work all night. 3 months later, in May, Austin woke up.
I'm sorry, I have to say it. I slept all day and worked all night. I was a dishwasher. I'm not going to say for what company, but I worked for it as a dishwasher. It was horrible. It was the worst experience of my life. I have so much respect for dishwashers from now on, because I used to, breakfast, lunch, dinner, I'm set through the whole thing. So people, when they eat, what they do, they put the napkin on plates, right? So when people put the napkins on plates, what people don't understand is those waitresses take those plates and they stack them on top of other plates and other plates on top of that plate. So it gets smashed in. So if you have pancakes and waffles or something like that and the syrup, now the napkin is stuck to the plate, and then when you wash off the plate, the particles and stuff will float in the water, and you gotta rinse the water out and then fill the water back up again, or the napkin will get stuck on another plate, and it was bad. And then the other chefs, you have to clean up the chefs too, and the pancake batter will harden because they were sitting up, because you have to wait for the next dishwasher to come in, so it would harden, and you gotta scrub, and then you'll cut your knuckles and stuff. It was bad, man. Like, you guys, make sure you don't put napkins on the plate. If you can, just sit a little bit to the side or something, or ball it up, throw it in the trash later. But I mean, unless you guys are like, oh, it's their job, then hey, it's on you. But I worked on the other side of it, and I would never work dishwasher again. But I mean, money's money. Do you?
To get ready for work, and he realized the power was out. So he left his bedroom and headed downstairs where his father was, and he asked him, how long has the power been out? And his dad told him that basically as soon as Austin had come home from his last shift, it had gone out, and the power company says it's going to be a while before it comes back on again.
What's the odds of his name being Austin in Texas?
Underneath the overhang, and it was pouring rain. And in fact, it had been raining when he had come back from his last shift, and looking out at his front yard and the streets, which were all flooded, it was clear it had just not stopped raining. And he's looking around, and all the houses are completely dark, the streetlights are even dark, so this power outage is pretty massive. Austin wasn't sure if he was going to need to go into work that day because of the flooding and the power outage, so he called his manager, and he asked her, and she would say that, yes, we do need you to come in, but not for your normal job, because the store is without power like everyone else. What we want you to do is just sit inside the store with the doors locked to prevent looting. Feeling a little let down that he still had to work, Austin grabbed a cup of coffee, put on his rain boots and his rain jacket, and ran out to his car.
They should get a security guard.
Was surreal. Not only was it totally dark because there was basically no streetlights on and all the houses are dark, but as Austin was driving, the roads were flooded. But because there was no light, it was very difficult to gauge how deep these puddles were. And on the road, periodically, he would see cars that had miscalculated the depths of these puddles, and clearly...
I feel like that's the manager's job. Like, I get it, you work and stuff. Like, why would I gotta go protect the store? Get what I'm saying? Like, it's your store. Wouldn't you think the manager be like, hey, there's rain and it's flooded outside. I don't want my employees traveling to get injured. Let me go do it. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't I mean, that's just me. That's the kind of manager I would be like, hey, it's flooding outside. Hey, I got to go look after the gas station. You guys, you know, just be safe and take shelter and whatnot. And if the lights come back on, one of you guys will come in and do that, you know?
Clearly had gotten stuck and the driver had just abandoned their vehicle. He described the scene as feeling like something out of a zombie apocalypse movie. Austin finally got to the gas station parking lot, which was slightly elevated, so there was a whole bunch of cars that had been left in the lot, presumably to avoid being flooded.
Or was it?
So he pulls into a spot and he sees his manager is in the store. She sees him. He hops out of the car. He runs up to the door. She unlocks it. She lets him in. She shuts it and locks it behind him. Austin had never been inside the store without power on, and he said what struck him as soon as he walked in was not just that it was totally dark, but it was totally quiet. The drink machines and the cooler and all the kind of ambient sounds were all gone, and it was just totally quiet. He turned to his manager, who was using her phone as a flashlight, and she said to him, look, there's not much for you to do here, so keep the doors shut, let me know if you need anything, and if the power comes back on again, open the store as usual. She handed him the keys and left out the front door. He locked the door behind her and then walked over to one of the tables inside, up against the side of the store. When he sat down, he got out his phone to start watching some YouTube videos to kill the time, but he quickly saw that there was no internet service.
The rumor has it that he did find internet service later on, and he began watching Rapunzel Zims on YouTube. Seen his channel, and he was like, damn, that dude is so cool, and he ended up subscribing. So he also said you guys should do the same, but hey, that's what he said. I'm just passing on the message.
Figured, well, I guess the power outage must have affected internet providers. And so now, totally bored without the internet, he got up and got a couple energy drinks, and he sat down at this table and just smashed energy drinks and watched the rain. And after about an hour of doing that, he was still really bored, and he thought, you know, I've always wanted to do vlogging, and so why not start vlogging right now? So he gets his phone out and he props it up on the table and he starts recording himself. And
yeah, he looks scary.
For the next couple of hours, Austin talked into his camera about the storm, about the power outage, about sports, about movies, about all sorts of things. His intent was not really to create a concise vlog so much as to just stay awake doing something. And it was working. He enjoyed doing it. And then around 3 a.m., as he's sitting there talking to his camera, you hear the unmistakable sound of someone banging really hard on the inside of the coolers on the other side of the store.
We're close.
And Austin immediately stops talking and turns his head and looks. And he hears it again. Very distinct pounding coming from the other side of the building. At this point, Austin's still looking. He's not even flinching. He's just staring in the direction of the sound. And then he turns back to the camera when he hears a third sound that doesn't sound like pounding, but it sounds like something else coming from that side of the room. And after that third sound, he's had enough. He gets up, he walks out of the store, locks it behind him, and gets in his car.
There we go.
He doesn't go back inside the store for the rest of his shift. And when the manager shows up, he honks the horn to get her to come over. And she's like, what are you doing out here? Why aren't you in the store like you're supposed to be? And he just shows her the video. As she's watching the video, she's clearly startled by the footage. And at the end of it, she confesses to Austin that lately employees have been telling her they're hearing weird banging sounds coming from the cooler. And that
you think that's not something you're supposed to tell me before I start shift? Like, oh yeah, there's a ghost in the back room behind a Dr. Pepper. You're good, bro. Like, no, you can't do that. Tell me before I go in there, bro. I did the same thing he did, but the only thing is he stuck around. I'm driving home. I'm working at, if that was Shell, bro, I'm submitting applications to Circle K. Like, we're not playing these games. It's 2019. You gotta stop the cap, man. You knew it was a ghost in there before I clocked in. I'm out here knocking back energy drinks. I would have thought like, damn, I may have too many monsters or something. Maybe my heart or my mind is mental is messed up. Who forgets to tell somebody there's a ghost behind an Arizona machine?
Had gone in there to check if maybe there was an animal.
Oh, poor Graham.
Something that was causing the sound, and she said she couldn't find it. After this, Austin's manager went inside the store and looked around, and there was no one inside, there was no one in the cooler, and she reviewed the footage of inside and outside the store over the past 12 to 24 hours, and the only people that had come near the store were her and Austin. Austin quit his job there 2 weeks later. Here is some of the footage of Austin.
Good job, Austin. Be my boy.
Pouring. So I went outside to go check, and our street was flooded. And in front of his...
Nope. Nah. Yeah. Look, this is where he came to realization. Let me rewind it back, y'all. All right, I'm about to walk y'all through it because I'm an expert when it comes to people getting scared. Watch this, because I get scared all the time. Dude, look. Boom. Okay. His first thought process. Maybe something fell. Look at the neck muscles. It's tensed up. Like, oh, that startled me. You know, maybe it's that. Maybe it was something. Maybe that something fell off the shelf. He looks. He's like, it's gonna loosen up. Watch. He's like, okay, maybe it wasn't. Nothing's over there. Could be able to fall. And he's realizing somebody's in the store or it's a ghost. Jawbone right here. He's starting to realize that nothing fell and there's something in there. See, he looking behind him. Cause he think, look, yep. Bro, he stayed longer than I did, bro. I would have been out the front door.
You do that?
How could we not? Yep, he's starting to get hot. Yeah, that's the hot one.
Something is moving around.
He's about to get clapped, bro.
Cool.
Bruh, Austin, I like your beard. If you see this video, your beard is on point, bruh. But you gotta get up out of there, bruh. They about to skin you alive. He's still sitting there. Bro, don't take the camera. They like to show their face on camera for some reason. I don't know what it is with ghosts. They about to walk by real quick or they go peek around the corner. They never show their whole body for some reason. Wait, what's the heart beating sound for? There we go. Whew. Oh my god, wait, why did that scare me?
Screw all that noise.
Yeah. Man, my boy Austin. Get some hype in the chat for Austin, man. He got out of there and locked the door. He quit. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, it took him 2 weeks, but my boy quit, man. Oh, man. You just gotta understand, there's so many more jobs that are not haunted. It's not worth it. The ice cream, the big sticks, lemon heads, pads, whatever it is back there, the 30-cent bag of hot Cheetos. Bruh. It's done. White Island. That don't sound dangerous.
Is one of the world's most accessible volcanoes, with only a third of its cone protruding from the water and one of its walls having fallen in, creating a sort of natural drawbridge. All it takes is a 90-minute boat ride or a 20-minute helicopter ride, and you could be stepping off directly into the crater. The island has a definite menace to it, with the acrid air and the acid lake inside of an inner
acid lake
and the abandoned sulfur mine, where in 1914...
Why is all the beautiful places dangerous? Have you guys noticed that? The Bermuda Triangle, it's like really pretty. This volcano is really pretty, but it got acid in it. The little guy, the geysers, wherever it was, the last video, it was so pretty. It dissolved your bones like, damn.
10 men were swept away to their deaths by a mud avalanche. When this mine closed in the 1930s, the island was largely forgotten about for several decades, until the 1990s when adventure tourism really started to heat up around the globe, and locals in New Zealand started taking advantage by offering boat rides and plane rides out to this kind of otherworldly volcano island.
You don't say.
Soon, guidebooks were calling a tour of White Island an unmissable trip. Once on the island, tourists were taken on a very established route that started on the southern end of the island on a jetty. They'd walk up a dirt path, they'd go directly through the crater down to this inner depression where they could look over at this acid lake, and then they'd turn around and they'd walk right back, passing by the abandoned sulfur mine on their way back to the jetty. Tourists of all ages could complete this route in about an hour and a half. This volcano is very closely monitored by a geological monitoring service called GeoNet. Every day, they rate the danger this island presents on a 0 to 5 scale, and
it goes up and down.
Take place if it's 0, 1, or 2. Anything above 2, and it's too dangerous.
So what they're saying is this volcano has a mind of its own. It's pretty much its own entity, just sitting out in the middle of the open. He determines which day he wants to act up, bro. Which day he wants to be live. Which day he wants to give people smoke people. Do you guys understand that? It's a 0 to 5 scale. Usually it's 1 to 10. It's 0 to 5. He's short-tempered. It's a short-tempered volcano on White Island.
On November 19th, 2019, GeoNet rated the danger of the island as a 2, saying that it looks like, eruptive activity is more likely, but still safe for tourists.
That's a 2?
Now, make no mistake, anybody that went out to White Island was made fully aware of the risks of going out to the island, including that rating system. Hey, today's a 2, so it's on the upper bounds of what's acceptable.
That's crazy.
That was part of the thrill of going out to White Island. It was like you're brushing up with death, but it feels really safe because the guides are out there with you and they're kind of joking about how it might erupt any day. You could be enveloped in an acid mist and obliterated by rocks, and people thought that was like kind of fun. And so when the rating was bumped up to a 2, suddenly people were more inclined to go. It was more exhilarating. Fast forward a few weeks to December 9th. The GeoNet rating is still at a 2, and 5 groups of tourists headed out that morning for White Island. You had 3 big groups that were in 3 separate boats, and you had 2 smaller groups that were in their own helicopter.
Please don't do
They
it.
made their way out, and they arrived around 1 p.m., and they began staggering tours up the path, down into the crater, down to the acid lake, and then back out again. By about 2 p.m., 2 of the large groups that came in on boats had finished their tour, got back on their boats, and were ferrying around just offshore, taking pictures of the island.
Yeah.
And one of the 2 helicopter groups had already boarded their helicopter and taken off.
It just
At
looks
2:09
dangerous.
p.m., 47 tourists and guides were still on the island. 26 were down near the jetty waiting to board their boat to leave, and 21 were still deep inside of the crater. 1 minute later, at 2:10 p.m., one of the cameras operated by GeoNet to measure volcanic activity on the island snapped this picture of the 21 people down in the crater.
Oh,
now,
yeah,
the
you can
image
see
is
'em.
not clear enough to make out individuals, but you can clearly see
Yeah,
body shapes.
absolutely.
It looks like they are relaxed, walking in a straight line,
Mhm.
making their way back to the jetty. For all but 3 of them, this would be the final picture of them taken alive. 1 minute later, at 2:11 p.m., the volcano erupted, consuming almost everyone inside of the crater, sending steam and ash and acidic mist 2 miles into the air, followed immediately by another explosion that went horizontally, firing rocks and more acid and boiling steam in all directions. Of the 47 people that were still on the island when it erupted, 19 died instantly and 2 more would succumb to their injuries later. These survivors required so many skin grafts that New Zealand put out a global order for 33.8 square meters, the equivalent of 16 bodies worth. One tourist named Alessandro Kaufman was on White Island that day. He was one of the tourists that was in one of the 5 groups of people that went out. He was in one of the boats, and he was one of the last people to get off right before it erupted, literally minutes before. And he was filming as his boat was loitering just offshore, waiting for the last 47 people to leave the island. Here's what he shot.
So before we start that clip, do you guys understand how much skin that is? And what people finds that exciting? Like, who does that? Like, hey, we're going out right now. We're going to the White Island volcano. It might erupt. It's a level 2 scale today, so we might get lucky. It might erupt on us. We don't know yet. But if you get hungry, there's takeout menus out back, and the Popeye's in an oven. So yeah, well, enjoy. What? Oh my lord! If it's not 0 that day that I'm going, if I get to the island and it says, oh, it's a 2 now, guess what? I'm staying on the boat. If I get there and it goes from 0 to 1, I'm staying on the boat. 0 is the only thing that makes me want to step foot on that island. Anything above 0, it's pushing it. You're pushing it. They was living on the wild side, bruh. That's some Red Bull type stuff. I can't do that, bruh. This is my world, the world of Red Bull. All right, let's see. Dang, man. It looks pretty up close. Nah, never mind. It looked like scary. YouTube's at the bottom, SCR Nathan, so make sure you guys go check him out. I was bubbling, see? Nah, bruh. 22 minutes. There it goes. All those people in there. 19. And then 2 more succumbed to their injuries, so 21. And then the other people needed skin grafts. Yeah, that's smoke coming. Jesus. He said the same thing. Oh my goodness, the hairs on my arm. Yeah, you not surviving that at all, bruh. Not even in your best day, you're not surviving that at all. Bus 1170. Jesus, please stay away from volcanoes, people, man. It was so much smoke, it covered the whole island and went up 2 miles in the air. So that's acid, rocks, and steam, bro. They got cooked alive, man.
29th, 2008, a little after midnight, a 40-year-old man named Vince Lee boarded a Greyhound bus bound for Winnipeg, Canada, using a fake name.
I heard
He
Canada's
left his
nice.
house abruptly without telling his wife where he was going, but he left her a note, which she would later give to police, and the note just said, "I'm gone, don't look for me, I wish you were happy."
Red
Vince
flags.
rode the bus for 5.5 hours without sleeping and got off when it stopped in Erickson. And the bus driver would say to him, "Hey, this is not your stop, you want to get off at Winnipeg." And Vince apparently just did not turn around, didn't react to him, didn't even seem to hear him, and just calmly walked away. And so the driver eventually just kind of shrugged his shoulders, closed the doors, and headed off. Shortly after the bus left, Vince was spotted sitting on a nearby bench holding a sign that said laptop for sale, $600. And over the course of the rest of that day and all night, Vince was spotted by multiple people not moving, not sleeping, sitting upright, looking straight out, not even blinking. The next day,
his
on July
eyes.
30th, a 15-year-old boy would approach Vince and offer to buy his laptop for $60. And Vince agreed, gave him the laptop for $60. Once the kid walked off with his laptop, Vince got up, went behind a nearby store, and burned some of his belongings before going back to the bus stop he had gotten off at the day before and waited for the bus.
That's a steal. I mean, not to take away from the story, but you went from 600 to 60? Boy, get that kid a job at BMW or something, bro. Put him in a car salesman line. Put him in real estate. You talked that dude down $540? Bruh, I need to take him with me on Black Friday shopping. But then again, I don't know, he probably had mental health issues and he's burning his stuff, which is one of the top signs of people about to commit suicide. Pretty much he's left a note saying, don't look for me. He's giving away his stuff and he's burning his stuff. So that's one of the signs. So if you guys didn't know that, keep that in mind for your friends and whatnot. Especially if they're giving away stuff you know they truly love dearly. Pay attention to that stuff.
A little while later, at 5:55 p.m., Greyhound bus 1170 arrived at the Erickson bus stop, opened their doors, and Vince climbed on board and sat in one of the front seats. Sitting in one of the last seats in the bus was a 22-year-old father named Tim McLean, who had boarded the bus 5.5 hours earlier in Alberta, Canada, after a long stretch working at a carnival. When he got on board, he was exhausted, so he went to the back of the bus, put his headphones in, leaned his head against the glass, and had fallen asleep. And when Vince got on board, that's what Tim was doing. He was still sleeping in the back. As soon as the bus left the Erickson bus stop, some of the 36 other passengers on board would say Vince was acting very strange. He was looking down and muttering to himself, and at one point Vince got up and he was pacing up and down
Get him off the bus.
front of the bus. When the bus made a quick stop, Vince stood up, moved to the very back of the bus, and sat directly next to Tim in the same seat. Tim woke up, turned over, looked at Vince, gave him a quick smile, and then rolled back over and fell asleep, unfazed. The bus started moving again, and then a little while later, at 8:30 p.m., Vince stood up and went to the bathroom in the back of the bus.
Vince making me nervous.
Other passengers noticed he had a large knife in a sheath on his belt. 5 minutes later, Tim is still fast asleep against the window.
Don't tell me.
Vince comes out of the bathroom and he goes back into his seat, but instead of sitting down, he puts his right knee on his seat and plants his left foot on the ground right in front of his seat, so he's facing Tim. He pulls his knife out of the sheath and drives it into Tim's neck. Tim woke up and he was trying to fight him off of him and he was screaming for help, but Vince was robotic and unemotional, just continuously attacking Tim until he went still.
What did he do? What did he do? Why? The man was asleep. He didn't even do nothing. What is wrong with Vince? You should have... I want to say that, but bro, you got jacked out of $540 and you killed Tim? I don't understand. Why? I hope there's a logical explanation for this. Maybe he was looking for this dude. He was a secret hitman or something. But why? He smiled at him, bruh. Throughout the whole story, he was the only person that smiled at Vince, bruh. The only one. And he stabbed him in the neck, bruh. Man, the bus driver should have kicked this dude off when he was pacing back and forth, bruh. I don't play that, man. I put my bag in my seat on the bus. When I seen people like that walking back and forth, they kind of had like some issues going on, man. I put my bag right there because I don't want them next to me. I've never slept on buses, man. I'd never sleep on public transportation, ever.
The passengers were half asleep when this started, and so it took a minute before it registered with everyone what was going on, and quickly people started screaming, and then the bus driver pulled over, and people were clamoring to get out of the bus.
Help
Once
him!
off the bus, a couple of the male passengers decided they had to go back in and try to save
It's too
Tim.
late.
But when they walked up the steps and looked down the aisle, they saw Vince had pulled Tim out into the aisle. Vince's back was to the front of the bus, and they could tell that Tim's head was no longer on his body. At this point, Vince whipped his head around and looked at the three men that had come on the bus, and he jumped up and charged them with the knife.
Yeah, nah,
At this point,
bruh.
The three men retreated and ran out of the bus.
Bruh.
And luckily, one of them was the driver who was able to initiate the security system on the bus that made it immobile, so Vince couldn't drive it away, and it shut permanently the doors until you deactivated the security system. While waiting for the police to show up, horrified onlookers had to watch Vince as he continued to attack Tim, and in fact at one point Vince began eating Tim and actually held his body up to show them what he was doing. Finally, the police arrived, and after a standoff, Vince leapt out of one of the windows and was tased repeatedly and then arrested. Once in custody, he said he was sorry, but he also said the reason he did it was God was speaking to him while he was sitting on the bus, and he was instructing him that Tim was an alien who was going to attack him, and so he needed to go kill the alien to save the world.
Bro, it was not even a demon? House, bruh. An alien, bruh. Like, you'd have thought, like, demon, the guy said a demon, bruh. An alien, bruh. Oh my, I don't understand. What God was he talking to and made us say it was an alien? Let that sink in your head.
In a controversial turn of events, Vince Lee was found not criminally responsible for the death of Tim McLean, and so was not given jail time. He was sent to a treatment program that, after he finished, he was fully released. He was allowed to change his name. He has no restrictions. He has no supervision. He is a totally free man. Just minutes after Vince was apprehended by police, one of the passengers who had been sitting near Tim when the attack started gave an interview where he described what happened. Here are segments of his interview.
Suddenly I heard a guy screaming, I turned around, and the guy sitting right next beside me, standing up and stabbing another guy.
Why didn't you help him, bruh?
A Rambo knife.
He called it a Rambo knife.
The bus, me and a trucker that had stopped, and the Greyhound driver ran up to the door to maybe see if the guy was still alive or we could help or something like that. And at that point, when we saw the head, we knew that the guy was dead. So some people were puking, some people were crying. The guy, he didn't care at all. He wasn't concerned with anybody but the guy that he stabbed was listening to his headphones and sleeping.
Do it, guys. If you found the secret in today's episode, let us know in the comments what it is and where you found it, so give us the timestamp, and if you're the first to do that, we'll pin you at the top of the comments section. If you enjoyed today's video and you haven't done this already, please put Icy Hot on the Like Button's deodorant, and then also encourage them to pet your dog because it's so friendly, but in fact your dog isn't friendly. It bites anything that touches it. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly 3, 4, even 5 video uploads. If you want to get in touch with me, you can direct message me on Instagram or on Twitter. My username is the same on both platforms. It's JohnBallen416. I also have a ton of content over on TikTok where my username is Mrballen. If you have a story suggestion, please submit it to our subreddit just called Mrballen. It's linked in the description below. So whether I see you on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, or some combination, just know that I really appreciate your support, and until next time, that's going to do it. See ya.
This video, man, took me for a roller coaster. I wasn't expecting the last video to be that bad. Usually when you look at people's top 5 or top 10, usually like number 6 was like worse than number 1. But yeah, he hit it dead on the head, man. That was wild. Why didn't nobody else grab him? I don't know. Maybe it's just a reaction thing where you just like, oh, knife, and you run. But I felt like I would have at least tried to headlock him or grab him or something. But if you had a Rambo knife, then again, I wasn't there. I can't really speak on it. Poor Tim, dude. He said God said he was an alien. The fact that he didn't get no prison time. He knew what he did. He picked him up and held him up in the window where people could see. No justice. Imagine how Tim's family feel. This dude is he's out right now living his best life. He probably has another family. He probably changed his name, identity, all that. No one knows. That's crazy, dude. But then you got people going to jail for old tickets and not appearing in court, and they go to jail for that. Like, that's crazy, man. Dang, that's wild, bro. But hey, if you guys enjoyed this, man, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, support your boy. Also, swoop down to the description box. Go hit that link and go follow my boy, Mrballen, and watch the video in its entirety. We'll be pausing and stopping through the whole thing. The giveaway is still going. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, still participate in the giveaway, man. Everybody's a winner. Let be a lady tonight. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.